Good afternoon, everyone. This is Cherise Smith with Applied Software. We want to say first and foremost, thank you for joining us today. I have with me Lisa Baker, and today's webinar will focus on the benefits of Autodesk Maintenance Subscription. Just to give you, just to set the tone of the webinar, we will be focusing on what we're calling maintenance subscription as opposed to desktop subscription. Just a little background on the differences between the two. Maintenance subscription applies to those of you that have perpetual licenses of Autodesk software and that you renew this maintenance on an annual basis. And today we will cover the things that are provided to you as a benefit of that maintenance. I have with me Lisa Baker. Lisa and I have had the opportunity to work together probably just over 15 years or so, and I will tell you that she is one of the most expert, and she doesn't like it when I call her expert, she has the highest level of expertise in navigating through Autodesk's systems, and especially the subscription system of anyone I have had the opportunity to work with. So I am proud to say I'm very grateful that Lisa will be handling our demonstration today. So we just want to encourage you as we move along to ask questions as we go. But before we launch into this, we would like for you to know of some other webinars we have coming up. We have A360 Team on January 27th, Optimizing Factory Layout, which generally appeals to the manufacturing space, CAD MEP Demystified. That's going to be for the MEP contractors and engineers. Understanding Software Networking. That would be a very complementing webinar to what we are doing today. Today we're going to talk about maintaining your software, and then on February 24th we'll talk about the difference between networking your software and standalone seats and the advantages of those two platforms. And then lastly, we want to encourage you to take part in our simulation with Inventor Professional Part 2. This is a follow-up to a webinar we did earlier in the week, this week. If you missed it, you can find it on our YouTube channel. With that being said, Lisa, I think we're going to make you the presenter and let you take over.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for taking time to join us today for our webinar. I hope this session will be helpful to you in learning how to navigate the Subscription Center website. That is your main tool for accessing your benefits. I hope it will help with cleaning up some issues and questions and enable you to understand your benefits better. I do appreciate Cherise's introduction. As she said, I never like to consider myself an expert because Autodesk is always growing and changing and policies change. So it is a constant job to keep up with their policies. I do experience some of the same frustrations and technical difficulties you do, but I hope that you will look to us as a resource and a guide so we can work together for a more satisfactory experience with your subscription program. If you are following a lot of these procedures we discussed today correctly and are still experiencing error messages or failures or shutdowns, we may need to address these separately because they may be more than procedure and actual errors. I will be using a combination of tutorials, screenshots, and I will be going into the Subscription Center live, but I am using our own applied software contract. So some of that information is confidential, and I will have to stop at some point before I show confidential information. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we even go into the Subscription Center, I want to provide you with some hopefully helpful tools. At the top of the page right now, you will see the website link for the Autodesk Knowledge Network. This is a public website. It does not require a login or password. It is full of tutorials, question and answer documents, frequently asked question documents, blogs, white papers. It's just a really good source for how do I do something, or you see a screen that you totally don't understand. Error messages can even be queried on there. It's just a really great website. I have it bookmarked and I use it every week, if not daily. The number below that, 866-681-4359, that is the Autodesk customer service line. That number is not very readily available on Autodesk websites, so I wanted to give that to you. It is a just general information line for any customer. There is a menu option for registration and activation. It will automatically default designate a contract manager. Subsequently, software coordinators can be assigned. Software coordinators can also, you can have several of them. There can be only one contract manager, but you can have several software coordinators. Some companies like to organize and arrange their contracts maybe by location or by person, by cost center. There's numerous ways you can group your licenses, and if you have different people managing different groups of your software licenses, you can have multiple coordinators. And we will go in how to set that up in just a little bit. The contract manager, when a contract is first set up, the contract manager is going to receive the welcome kit. And this is very important if you are a first-time user. Once your software is ordered and the order starts to process, you will start receiving emails from Autodesk, and one of them will be welcoming you to the Subscription Center. And it will give you a link, what your user ID is, which is usually your email address, and a temporary password. So you can go ahead into the Subscription Center and set up your login, because you are going to be pivotal in the organizing and inviting other people to this contract. The software coordinator is going to have almost the same accesses of the manager. They will receive the email notifications of when a new release is available for download, if there is a new extension or upgrade to your software outside of the regular yearly updates. The contract manager will receive the renewal notifications when it is time to renew your contract, and they do send out many, many emails of that sort. Having said this, please note this sentence at the bottom of the page. Contract managers and software coordinators, oh, I'm sorry, I already went over that. I wanted to stress this. It is imperative that everyone be able to receive emails from Autodesk. So please, anybody who needs to be on the Subscription Center, please have them whitelist the Autodesk.com domain. I've had many customers that have had trouble inviting their users simply because they couldn't receive the automated emails. So that is imperative. Finally, the last role in the Subscription Center is simply a user. A user is any person designated by the manager or coordinator to access the Subscription Center. We will go into detail on how to invite users. When you do invite users, it's a very simple process, and once you input their contact information, it will take you to a page where you can even determine what things that user has access to. If you only want them to be able to access Autodesk technical support, you can indicate that. You may only want them just to be able to download software and not do anything else. But you will have several choices, a checklist, that you can choose for your users to have access to. So those are really the three players when it comes to the subscription contract and the Subscription Center website. So how do we get started? This is the address. It's just simply autodesk.com/subscription center, and it will take you to this page on the screen. Contract managers will, as I said, already have an email with your user ID and temporary password. This is where you will always log in. Once you log in with your temp password, it will prompt you to set a personal password. If you are not an administrator, such as a manager or a coordinator, if you just tell a user to go to the site and log in, he will not be able to. You have to actually invite the user so he gets his automated email and then can go to the screen with his user ID and password. This is going to be the first thing you see when you log on to the Subscription Center. I can't get back. I've already logged in and I can't get back here, so I wanted to show you this screenshot. Support requests. This is where you log in for a tech support question. Even if I go live into our own contract, it would do me no good to click on this because as resellers, we have other forms of technical support from Autodesk. But if you give your users access to technical support from Autodesk, this is where they would click on this link to then input a support request right here. We're mostly going to be in the Access Your Subscription Benefits site today, but I did want to show you that page. This is the first front page of the website once you log in and are in the Subscription Center proper, and we are now going to go live into the Subscription Center. So this is our home page. Jennifer Daxon is our contract manager, so this is what you will have access to as a manager. This is also pretty much what you will have access to as a coordinator. Your users, these links over here, your users will only have ones that you have designated they are allowed to use. They will not have contract administration. And of these other links, they will have the ones that you have designated. So we're a manager. We have our login and username all set up. We're on this page, and we are ready to get started. Of course, the first thing that people are wanting to do is download their software. So let's go ahead and address that first. As a manager, you would click on Contract Administration. This is going to be your managerial page, and this is where you do most of your managing from. Here is your Manage Users link. Here also is your Manage Software Coordinators. So if you are the contract manager and you're also the coordinator and you want to give that role to someone else, you would click on Manage Software Coordinators. So let's go in there. As you see here, we have a list, and these are all of our employees, mostly tech support people. And here's our list of users. When you have a new contract with no users, this square right here would simply be blank. To add a user, it's very simple. You click on the Add button, and you type in their information. Simply email, first name, and last name. When you hit Save and Continue, you can either add another user, or if you hit Save and Continue, you will go to the page where you have your checklist of what you want them to be allowed to use. I'm not going to go any further, so I will cancel that action. If you have employees that you need to limit their access tighter, employees that leave and you need to disable their login, you would simply go to their own line and hit Edit Access. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to accidentally change the accesses of my users here. They would be very upset with me. But a lot of people come back with questions saying, this employee left and I don't want them to have access to the site anymore. This is where you would manage that. This is also going to, we're going to come back to this page later because this is also in conjunction with the Autodesk 360. You have another link right here that takes you straight to Manage Software Coordinators, so you can get to that link at both places. So let's go back. Thinking there was a link at the top to go back to the Subscription Center home.
Lisa, while you're looking for that, I just want to encourage anyone in the audience, feel free if you have any questions that you would like to ask as we go along, type them in the box and I will be monitoring that and we will ask them at the time that you do so that we don't move around and have to come back, and so that we answer your questions immediately. So just want to highly encourage you guys to not leave any stone unturned. If we don't know the answer, we'll get you the answer. So.
All right, as I said, I thought there was a link there, but what we'll do is just go back to that original Subscription Center website. Okay, so to go back to the contract administration page, we've covered managed users and managed software coordinators. The next thing I want to go to is downloads. If you've invited a user and they come to their front page and they have access to downloads, they can access it two ways, this download link or this get your upgrade. It's a little slow to refresh today. Okay, this is the download page. You will see here at the top there are some discontinued products. That's why they stopped at 2012. As we scroll down, we will see our active and current software, and these are the different versions that are available. As you probably know, subscription customers are allowed to install the current version plus 3 versions back. While we're on this page, I'm going to run off a little sidetrack here. Many customers want physical media. Autodesk no longer provides media of any sort, but defaults to download. You can request physical media. They do charge $30 per set of media. I'll go into this just a bit. So the link is right here on your download page to request physical media. For the smaller products such as AutoCAD or AutoCAD Mechanical, Architectural Desktop, those are still on DVD. The larger suites that are bigger programs are going to be provided on thumb drives, but they all cost $30 per. Here's the start of your order process. It is just like any other online ordering that you do. You select your product, and of course only the products you have on subscription will appear here. We just have so many of them, that's why it seems like a very complete list. Don't forget to select your language. Autodesk is very big on that. Don't know why it's not letting me do the pull down. And then you select your, so I have to select something. Select your language. For that, it's multi-language, and your quantity. You can order as many as you want, but it's still going to be, again, $30 per. At that point, you just enter all your information, shipping information, billing information. It will ask for a credit card. You also get to choose your shipping form. You can do an expedited shipping if you want to pay for it. Of course, it's a little bit extra or you can just do the regular ground shipping, but you will have a choice for that. Once you verify all your information and hit confirm, you have ordered media. I did walk through this recently with a customer who was having some trouble. He had hit some error messages, but when we went through the process together, we were able to complete the order. So we're back to the download page. There's where you request your physical media, and here is where you download. An interesting aspect of the subscription site is on the download page you will notice there is no information about serial numbers or product keys. I believe this is for security reasons. Some companies may not want their customers to have whole lists of the company's serial numbers. So in order to get your serial numbers and product keys, we are going to go back to the contract administration page. Again, this is only going to be available to managers and coordinators because it is under the contract administration page. To get your list, your chart, matrix, whatever you want to call it, of your serial numbers and product keys, you can click on this coverage report. I'm not going to go any farther on this because this will reveal all of Applied Software's license information. Also, right below here is a link called the Licensed Software Report. It is still in beta. I have clicked on it several times. Sometimes I get the information I want, sometimes I don't. I guess that's why it's still in beta. But you can try that also. But typically, Coverage Report will give you information for your current and previous serial numbers. You can also contact us as your reseller. We have access to your license information on another separate reseller website, so we can provide that information as well. If you need previous serial numbers that you don't see, or if it's just confusing to you, please don't hesitate to contact us for help with your license information.
Lisa, one
Yes.
thing that I need to clarify, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but back to media requests can only be made for current versions, not when they request previous versions. That is a mandated download only, correct?
That is correct. I believe that you are only going to be be allowed to order media for current version.
Right. So just want
Thank you, Sharice.
make that clarification.
Thank you. Okay. Let's go down here to the Request Home Use and Previous Versions. These two links and these two benefits are only for subscription customers. Let's start with previous version. A lot of questions come up about previous versions. As I stated, subscription customers are allowed to install the current version or previous releases up to 3 back, and those will be on your download page. You're even allowed access to a previous version if you did not own that particular version. Say you order a new seat of AutoCAD 2015, but you need AutoCAD 2013 to work with a particular client of yours. This is where you're going to request a previous version that you did not own. If you own the previous version, you can just continue with that previous version serial number. So this link is to request a previous version serial number. I'm going to pull up some screenshot, a tutorial that shows how to request those previous versions. Well, I thought I was. Here we go. Okay. So they simply have you log into the subscription center and click the Access Your Benefits link. Go to get your upgrades. And I'm not going to go through this whole process, but if you cannot find the previous release of your serial number you are trying to download, I'll tell you what, let's just go into it live. I just won't go all the way through the process because that does not give me the information I want. Okay, this is going to start the process. There is an eligible products list because not all products have previous versions licenses, but it's a very limited list that doesn't. Almost all the regular Autodesk products are included. It gives you also a link to your coverage report, so you can go there if you want to look at your serial numbers. Here's where you choose if it's a standalone license or a network license, and you hit continue. I'm not going to go any farther than that, but you just go through the process and fill in the required fields to get your previous version access. Again, this has to be done by the manager or the coordinator and cannot be done just by the user who needs that previous version software. If you own a previous version that is more than 3 back, say you want to run AutoCAD 2008 for some particular reason, maybe you have legacy data that you need to access and work on. If you did own that product, you can get special permission from Autodesk to get an authorization to run versions farther back than 3 versions, again, if you owned the software. It's a special approval request. We can assist with that. And the activation for that very old version will be good for up to a year. At that point, at a year point, you will start getting messages saying you need to reactivate this product. I just wanted to mention that that is available if you own the software. So we're going to go back to contract administration. Another benefit for subscription customers is home use. As many of you probably know, you are allowed to install your Autodesk software on a secondary computer that is company-owned for a remote usage. That means a desktop at the office or a desktop at home, a desktop at the office or a laptop, as long as you are the only person using the software on either one system or another. Typically, this is for company-owned computers. I don't know how they would police that specifically, but that is the rule of the second installation. For subscription customers, they are allowed to request home use. So they can install it on any computer, their own individual computer or laptop. I'm going to pull up another PDF here. This is going to be about home use. Let me enlarge this because there's an important point here. If you have a standalone license, you simply go through the installation process as you did on your work computer. It is governed by a request code. So this will pop up a second request code, and you go through the activation prompts to install your standalone license at home. This process we are discussing right now is for network licenses only. Only for network licenses do you need to submit a home use license application. And this is the reason. If you are at your company connected to the network and you download a network license onto your laptop to take away from the company, you're pulling from that network license pool, and that license will only stay on that laptop for 30 days. At that point, it will expire. So if you are needing to use it for 60 days and are not going to be back in the office after 30 days, you're just out of luck. So what this home use license application form does is for network licenses, it actually generates a secondary serial number so you can use your home license up to a year for network licenses. Again, as you see, you'll just go through the prompts and input your information, your serial numbers, your product name, and your release. Sometimes this takes a couple days. I would not say up to 5 business days, but it may take 24 to 48 hours to process this request through Autodesk. Again, this is just for network licenses that you need to use in a remote location for an extended period of time, as long as you are the only user. So that is what they call extended extraterritorial rights, home use, and previous version. There are a few other links on this contract administration page. The renewal reports gives you a list of contracts that are going to be coming due for renewal within 90 days. So if you want to keep up with when your renewal is due, that provides you with a report. Down here, the very last link says Set Reseller View. This is simply an opportunity for customers to allow their reseller to view reports, requests, and responses. Some customers like to have their reseller aware of what's going on in case they need extra help. This is where you give your reseller permission due to privacy rights. This is where you give your reseller permission to view tech support requests and responses. That about covers the contract administration. And this page, again, is only accessible to managers and coordinators. So let's go back to the very home page, which everyone will be able to see. I want to address these links right in the middle of the page. These are just general tutorials and FAQs, how to do this, how to do that. When you click on these, it's going to kick you right back over to the Autodesk Knowledge Network that we discussed previously. So again, feel free to use those links. That's what will be taking you. Let's go to the Autodesk Knowledge Network just offhand. And this is the start. You can search here on Subscription Center. I might even put in tutorials. Okay. All right. Right at the top is Subscription Solution Center. This has all links to very helpful and general information, some of which we covered today, but they will probably go into more detail. There's the home use FAQ and eligibility product list. Here's information if you're having trouble to signing in or logging into the Subscription Center. Download, add or remove users, as we discussed briefly. So just a really good general knowledge page, and all I did was query on Subscription Center tutorials. Another good page to bookmark, especially if you are the contract manager or software coordinator. How to find your serial number and product key. A lot of good information. So that's what it looks like. And general users who have access can get to these links. And of course, everybody can get to Autodesk Knowledge Network. Let's take just a minute and go into Autodesk 360. When your manager or coordinator has gone in and invited users, some of the benefits that they will have a choice to have access to is Autodesk 360. Depending on what software you have will depend on what 360 services you are allowed to use or have access to. So once you've invited a user and given them access to Autodesk 360, whatever benefits your products dictate, they will have access to that as well. And again, that is managed on the Manage Users page. If you click on Autodesk 360, it's going to take you into a separate window, which is A360 Drive. This is where your users are going to upload their documents, right here. Over here is a box giving you information about what services you can access. Obviously, we have a lot of them there because we have so much software. Green Building Studio is going to be a distinct benefit of the Revit or building suites. Simulation Mechanical, Simulation CFD, that's going to be direct services from your mechanical software. So just depending on what products you own is going to determine what products are listed here. I'm not going to go very far into this because I don't have any documents to upload. I haven't uploaded any. I don't use this site very often, but this is where you access it. And again, there will be more information on the Autodesk Knowledge Network. Here's information about the cloud credits. Here's information. Here's an Autodesk 360 FAQ.
Lisa, we do have a couple of questions that we need to address.
Okay.
John is asking, does every network license come with a free standalone? No, John, that does not happen. If you have a network license, that license is deployed as a network. What happens is the software can be loaded on any and every desktop, and then based on the number of licenses that are on the network, that will give you the number of simultaneous use that can happen within those licenses. I don't know if that answers your questions completely, but simply because a license is network does not mean that you can install it as a network and then install it as a standalone.
Right, and if I was confusing in my point about home use, when you go through the home use, it's as if it's going to generate a separate serial number for you to install in your remote computer, but that does not mean every network license has a free standalone install as well. It's either one or the other.
And along those same lines, Mike was asking about the home use license. Home use license is by license, not by single company. So if a company owned 10 licenses of software, then they could have potential, and they were on subscription, they could have potentially 10 home use licenses, meaning those same 10 employees could work from home or from a field location. Yes, also on the network, back to the network licensing question, if you have network, you can borrow a license from the network to work off-site as well. That is another option that is available through the networking license. So if I'm on a network and I need to be deployed in the field for, the next 2 weeks, I'm on site, then I can borrow my license from the network. I can take it away for 2 weeks, and then upon my return, it checks back into the network.
Yes, that is definitely an option without having to do a home use. But again, it's pulling a network license from the pool, so you're reducing your pool by 1, and it will expire, just disappear after 30 days. So it's a temporary work, but it definitely works if, as you said, you're only going to be deployed for a couple of weeks. Any other questions?
Let me make sure. I think that's gotten them all for right now. So carry on, and I'll interrupt as needed.
Okay. We're about winding down. We had been to the A360 drive, and as I said, I don't have a lot of things to show you on this page. If you need more technical information about this page, I would probably direct one of our technicians to call you and go through things step by step with you. Down here, towards the bottom of the page, product enhancements. These are additional, they are some fixes, they are some additional enhancements, for lack of a better term, that may apply for some of your products. So that can just be, as you'll see here, you have service packs and extensions. So you can go into your product enhancements just by picking download, and you will have a list of things depending on the products that you have on subscription. That's just something for you to explore. Subscription help is also going to take you, again, to the Autodesk Knowledge Network. I know you're seeing a theme here. Training gives you some accesses to training materials, a lot of support, forums, blogs. I don't know about the Autodesk University course materials. You may have had to go, let's see, full access to Autodesk University course materials free of charge, even if you did not attend. So those are just some training options available. And that's about all I have to cover, unless you see something on there that you are curious about, or if I did not cover something or was confusing. Are there any questions about some of the things that we have covered today?
It looks like we have one other question that's just come in. How do previous versions work on current hardware? Well, in all honesty, previous version would have to be compatible with your current hardware. I mean, if you're looking to go back to AutoCAD 2000 and you're on a Windows 7 operating system, chances are that's not going to work. And it would be, it just wouldn't be compatible. And generally, previous versions are within the last three releases. So if you stay within that boundary, your hardware is generally going to be acceptable to run any of those 3 previous versions.
I have not had a lot of customers come to me who are using previous versions 2, 3, or 4 years back and say, I can't get it to run because my hardware is not. If you're running the current version, you're usually able to run up to 3 versions back. Unless, like Sheree said, you just go way far back into software you owned 10 years ago.
Are there any other questions before we wrap up today? We want to make sure that everything is answered that that you wanted today. We want to highly encourage you to stay current on your maintenance subscription. It is always more economical to go that route, especially with the latest changes in the upgrade policy that goes into effect on February 1. So if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them.
Yes, please feel free to call us, use us as a resource. I spend a lot of time on the phone with customers answering questions about their subscription, about their licensing, about registration. Any of these steps along the way, as you saw today, there are places I clicked on and hit a brick wall, server busy. So if you experience frustrations or problems, please don't let that bog you down in your work. Please give us a call. We have access to a lot of tools that you may not, so feel free to use us as a resource.
Kurt also has a question concerning, he apparently owns one single user license. Kurt, if you had it on 2 computers, the way that goes is you may have it on a desktop at one location and a laptop that is mobile. That falls under home license use as long as it's under subscription. In the event that you have a computer failure or maybe your laptop crashes and you need to reload or you get a new laptop, you go through the same authorization process. We do caution clients that they will need to be prepared to fully explain why there may have been in such a short time frame based on how quickly you're requesting these. You need to be prepared that Autodesk will ask for an explanation, and it does, once these start occurring on a regular basis, it does raise red flags as to licensing issues. So we just want to caution you, but they do understand that clients change computers, upgrade computers, or have computer failure, which results in a need to reload on a different system. So you should be fine. Okay, I think we'll begin to wrap up. Thank you for the time that you've spent with us. If you have any more questions, feel free to continue to type them in the window. We'll check one last time before we actually sign off. We do have these webinars recorded on our YouTube URL. We want to highly encourage you to take advantage of that. Pass them along to anyone in your organization that may benefit from them if they missed it. And you can search on Live Lab Learning. And also want you to know that I know today is not specific to any type of software, but also know that we do provide virtual training on almost any of the software that we seed in our client base. So highly encourage you to look at the options there as well. Thank you again for your time. I'll check one more time for questions. before we sign off today? I think we're good. Thank you, Lisa. Great job. And we appreciate all of your participation, and we're so grateful for the questions you ask because they change every time, and it gives everybody a chance to hear what others have questions concerning. Have a great day, and we hope we will see you on some of our future webinars.